Okay, there's another way that you can show possession as well. You can use de plus the noun or the pronoun, and um, both of those can be used to indicate possession as well. And it's often used with the third person because the possessive adjectives su and sus can be a little bit confusing. Su and sus can mean your, his, her, their. So to clarify, a lot of times people will use de plus the noun or de plus the pronoun. Okay, so let's do a little bit of practice using de as opposed to using our subject pronoun. Our possessive adjective. Okay, so over here, de quién es el mapa? So we want to say that it is his. So we could say es su mapa, but if we wanted to make sure that people understood what, because if we say de quién es el mapa, if I say es su mapa, su could mean your, his, her, their. So if we want to make sure that someone knows that it's his map, I would say, we could say el mapa, instead of es su mapa, el mapa es de él. Okay, it's his map, es de él. So here, de quién es la computadora? Again, if I wanted to say es su computadora, that would be the equivalent of her. If I say su, it's confusing. Nobody knows whether I mean it's your, his, her, or their. So what I would say is la computadora es de ella. De quiénes son los diccionarios? Again, it would be son sus diccionarios, but I can't use sus because sus again could be your, his, their, etc. So I'm going to say they're of ellos. So I would say los diccionarios son de ellos. Okay, de quién es el reloj? We're going to do it the same way. El reloj es de ella. ¿De quién es el cuaderno rojo? And you can use the pronoun here as well. Es de, or I could say, el cuaderno rojo es de usted. Okay. Over here, doing the same thing again. ¿De quién es el lápiz? And this time it's got actual nouns, and that's fine as well. You don't have to use the pronoun. You can use the noun and say, el lápiz es de la profesora. Okay. ¿De quién son los papeles? Los papeles son de Marta. ¿De quién es el mapa? El mapa es del profesor. Okay, and I did something a little funky here. Notice how I put in, I made a contraction. Let's, give me 1 second, I'll pull that up too. Okay, so when the preposition de is followed by the definite article el, it contracts to form del. So whenever you end up with this situation, whenever you have de and then el comes immediately after it, you have to write del, okay? But it doesn't contract if you put, if de comes next to la or los or las, it's just el. So that's why I wrote, instead of saying el mapa es de el profesor, I have to make it del. And unlike in English where we have the option of using the contractions or not using the contraction, in Spanish you have to use the contraction. It has to be del. ¿De quién es la computadora? I would say la computadora es de ella. And here, ¿de quiénes son los diccionarios? Los diccionarios son de los estudiantes de Italia.